Hello, everyone. My guest today is Bahar Ansari. She's a practicing attorney and the co-founder of Case.one. She graduated magna cum laude from from Whittier Law School, where she specialized in business law and was an active editor of the Law Review. Now, today, she's building out a case and legal project management system in Case.one. Bahar, you ready to take us to the top?
Sure.
All right. So it sounds like practicing attorney here. Where did you get your software muscle to build the software company?
So I found my co-founder, who's the tech guy. I knew nothing about technology, but have learned a lot since.
He's not your husband, is he?
No.
Okay, just making sure. That happens all the time, and I got to ask. All right, so for people not,
and that comes for free.
Exactly. All right, so for people that are not familiar with the company, help me understand what you do and what's your revenue model. Are you pure play SaaS?
Yes, we are. We actually have a few different softwares or modules, we call them. We started out with the case management system for legal, and then we kept on building, and now we have bots, we have doc assembly, we have knowledge management, we have a lot of different softwares that integrate with each other that you can build a fully self-service robotic law firm or legal department out of.
Okay, and so on average, what are companies paying you per month or per year to access the technology?
The Case.one subscription model, it has a huge range. It ranges anywhere from, let's say, 100K to $1 million.
Per year or per month?
What's that?
Per year or per month?
Per year.
Okay, per year. So minimum, though, every customer is paying at least $100,000 per year, and then some of them go way up north of that.
Yes.
Okay, very cool. And put this on a timeline for me. When did you launch the company?
We launched the company 3 years ago in the US. We've since expanded a lot, but my co-founder actually had his company in Eastern Europe, and it existed before I came on board, and he had a huge development team in place. So the company itself as a whole is quite old, but I consider ours only 3 years.
Okay, so 2016. So how did you guys have the equity conversation early on? Does he own the majority of it because he was doing it before? Did you get majority, or how did you have that conversation?
He owns majority of it. He owns a little bit more than I do. Of course, he put in the technology and the initial investment, and I came on board as the CEO and the lawyer to contribute building the software.
And what have you scaled to today in terms of total customers on the platform?
So we have over 3,000 clients now globally. The US side, again, it's a little bit slower with the traditional culture of lawyers here, but overall globally, it's over 3,000.
Okay, and how many of them are actually paying?
All of them paying clients. So in the US, we have 2 non-paying clients that were our first users. Other than that, everybody's paying.
Okay, so all 3,000 clients are paying, again, something per month. How did you get your first 100 customers signed up? Do you remember?
The first 100 clients, where on the US side, it was crying and tears and blood. It was hard work to get the first 100 signed up and onboarded, of course. But
what'd you do though? Tell me how you did it.
I still do a lot of the sales. I did it personally with my team. It's some in-person meetings that we squeezed our way, and we took some. We attended some conferences, and a lot of it just cold calling. Just pick up the phone and call and try to get through.
Well, but help me understand how you actually did that. So you sit down in the morning back in 2016. You're going to cold call today. What do you search on to find websites of companies and then the phone numbers that you think might be great fits for your software?
So we actually made a big mistake our first year, and we started targeting law firms, small law firms, which wasn't the general international user of our platform. So with that, it's exactly that. We looked up local law firms, starting with local law firms, and started calling, started trying to ask for either in-person meeting or a shared screen. I had some lists on my own that I had gotten from having attended a couple of conferences a few months before. So that was helpful. Not too helpful because the contact information is never really that great, but really just Google. Stalking abilities have really improved since then. I found better ways, but I also utilize social media. That was different at a time. I was able to target some younger attorneys, and the sales cycles were easier. But other than that, just exactly how you described.
And Bahar, have you guys chosen to stay bootstrapped, or did you choose to take dilution and raise capital?
We're still bootstrapped. We haven't raised any. We're talking to some funds, but the company overall is profitable right now, so we're not in a rush.
Yeah. When you say profitable, being like 10% a month to the bottom line, or just barely break even?
It's a little bit over that. It's around 10% or more, but the US side, if we want to separate out different countries because we launched in Latin America and we launched in the Middle East, and now we're launching in Asia, and we're using a lot of the profits to keep reinvesting to grow the company. So if we want to break down the companies, US is still a little bit of, below.
But if you look at the whole company, though, 10% of the bottom line. Very cool. What's the team look like today? How many folks?
300.
Okay. And where's everybody based? You guys all spread out or a central location?
It's spread out everywhere. We're literally everywhere. The development team is a little bit more central. They're based out of Europe. There's 150 of them who work on product. The rest of the team is spread out.
Okay. And then look, churn, especially with law firms. I mean, this is a really critical problem with SaaS companies, right? So over the past 12 months, what does your churn look like? And what are you doing to try and keep that low?
It's less than 10% overall.
That's annually revenue churn?
Yeah. We focus a lot on engagement, and we have an interesting subscription model. It's actually not user-based. So we want to encourage companies to not only bring in like their legal team, but also to bring in their outside counsel to work on the same platform and bring in more employees. And the more engagement you have, the less churn. So we focus a lot on engagement with clients.
And what do you upsell based on if you don't upsell based on seats?
Modules.
Okay, so feature-based. Do you have any utility-based, like usage-based upsell? For example, number of contracts processed per month?
We do. So the way we price it is the size of the team and kind of usage. And a couple of our modules, for example, we have a knowledge management, and that's based on gigabytes, based on data. Some are based on number of templates. Our bot has number of conversations attached to it, so we kind of limit it out.
Okay, so you just said you do price based off team size. So you do have a seat-based model.
We do it based on company size. So if it's a really large company with a really small legal department, they could still fall into the small size, but we max out the number of seats. For example, as small is considered 1 to 49.
Got it.
But we don't charge per license. It's for that.
So back to the churn question. If you have about 10, the cohort you signed up exactly a year ago, let's say that 10% of that revenue churns. Do you have enough expansion revenue to more than make up for the 10% of lost revenue? Again, ignoring new customers. You do. Are you how far above 100% net revenue retention? Like 120, 130? Do you know?
Around. I don't know for sure, but around. Alex and I co-CEO the company. And I want to tell you that I'm not the best one with numbers, but
is there a target? Is there a target for that? Do you have an internal target for net revenue retention or no?
Sure. I'm sure we do. He's actually here. Let's get him on.
Oh, is he in the room?
Yeah.
Oh, Alex, yeah, bring him in. What's he doing? Sitting over there eating like potato chips while I grill the hell out of you? Why isn't he here?
You go handle it, and I'll stay on. 1 second.
Okay.
1 second. I think he just went outside on the phone, but I'm going to grab him because he do all of the tough stuff.
Yeah, bring him back in after he comes back inside, and we'll keep chatting in the meantime. Okay, so you're growing. You have module-based upsells. You said you'd passed, I think you said 3,000 customers. Those are actual paying customers, correct?
Yes.
And you said kind of average one is paying about, again, $100,000 per year, right?
Yeah, and we have an interesting kind of client base. We not only sell to enterprises for legal departments, we also sell to law firms, so that changes the range. But we also have government clients. For example, right now, we are working with the country of Bahrain to automate their court system as an e-justice platform. So that plays a huge part in the range because those are much, much larger deals versus like an average size, let's say Fortune 1000's average size dealer.
Mm-hmm. Well, what is like the minimum, like if someone's listening right now and they're going to be one of your smallest customers, or they want to sign up, what's the least amount they can pay to start using you, testing you out?
They can actually, for example, like start with one module and start with a bot. The bot is very popular even outside of the legal system. It's any service provider that we're selling into, and they can start with less than 100, with 20, 25.
$25,000 a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Start it with a bot.
Would you say $25,000 a year is more accurate in terms of the average across your base, or no? You think it's more like $100,000?
It's more of $100,000. We have more larger clients than we do small ones, and it throws the numbers a little bit because the bot and some of our smaller modules are new. We've had them, let's say, for the past year and a half. So the range is still very wide.
Yeah. Well, I guess the reason I'm asking is because, and maybe you're going to shock me here, and I'll be cheering you on from the front lines. But 3,000 customers, if they all pay obviously $100,000 a year, right? That's $8,000 a month, or about $24 million a year in a month in revenue you're doing, or $300 million a year. I'm assuming you're not that. I assume you're doing well, but you're not that large. Which of those numbers is not accurate?
We're actually a little less than that. We have most of our growth has been in the past 8 months, and we have a lot that's coming in terms of posts. Our numbers this year and these ranges are actually from this year. Our last year's ARR was about 17. So this year we're projecting 25 or more, but based on these deal sizes, so our numbers are a little bit. We can get into it later.
No, that's okay. But 17
calls added. We have new products added.
Yeah. So 17 million last year kind of run rate. You're hoping, if you do well, you guys are hoping to scale that up to 25 million by the end of this year.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So, I mean, if I take that 17 million, right, divided by the 3,000 customers, that's more like each customer is paying $6,000 a year, not 100.
You got completely cut off.
No, that's okay. I'm just saying if I take $17 million per year last year in revenue across 3,000 customers, that means each customer is paying on average $5,000 a year, not $100,000 a year.
So our biggest client, like I said, is 3 major court systems. So most of that revenue is even from that. The current pipeline with the current this year's model with the new product. So I'll take you back a little bit to next year because a lot of changes have happened. So in January, we actually implemented and integrated all of our products and built like a fully robotic self-service system. With that, because all of the modules are combined, it's changed the average deal sizes of what we have in our current pipeline. So since then, we also took a dip and had about probably no revenue on our US side for a few months while all of this is going through. So these averages that we've calculated out is based on the current pipeline size, not necessarily everything that's happening. We've also
So hold on, Bahar, just to be clear though. So historically, I understand the numbers you gave me are for your customers who are signing up now today. They're larger deal sizes. But when you look at ARPU, I'm asking across your historical customer base and what they're actually paying you. You have, it sounds like a couple 3-court, 4-court systems paying a lot of money and then a bunch of long tail. But on average, these 3,000 customers are paying something more like $4,000 or $5,000 a year, not $100,000 a year.
If we mix. Sure.
Well, because that's the reason is that's how I get to 7. You said you did 17 million last year. So divide that by 3,000 customers. That'd be 5,000 per customer. Well, but I don't want you to just agree with. I don't want you to just agree with me. I just want to understand you're saying. I want to make sure I understand your reasoning. The reason that the numbers are different is because now today you're targeting more enterprise $100,000 deals. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Perfect. That's. I just want to make sure I got that out at the gate.
Conversation because I feel like now I'm botching all of the numbers, and this is why I stay out of.
No. You're not botching them. It's my job to help them like be crystallized. I think you did a good job of doing that. You're adding new modules, you're expanding new geographies, and that's what's helping you expand revenue and contract values. Yeah, very cool. In order to get new customers, where are you getting them today? How are you signing them up?
We're still actually doing the same approach. It's a lot of cold calling. We don't have a huge brand in the US, and it's still not very inbound driven. So it's a lot of still cold calls and a lot of conferences. We go to a lot of conferences, much smaller conferences, to be able to have actual effective sit-down short conversations with general counsels, but that's still our main way.
And how aggressive are you being in terms of like what you spend on a conference relative to how quickly you sign up customer to get that money back? Are you comfortable with the 12-month payback period on a new customer?
We are. We need to work on that right now. It's not very profitable for us. It's costing us a lot more to go to these conferences than to see the return, because the sales cycles on these deals are 9 to 12 months, exactly like you said. So from the first moment, which was last June, where we switched all of our focus on our target market to this, we're starting to see results now to actually be able to measure what we've done.
Got it. So you've got north of a 12-month payback period right now, and you're trying to get that sooner, faster.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool. All right, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
I just got a new book that I started reading. It's Letters to Founders, which is really interesting.
Good. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
I I was for a while. Right now, no one specific.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your company?
Oh gosh, my favorite. I use ours. I use our tool.
No, besides your own, what tool do you use the most?
I use LinkedIn the most, to be honest.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Maybe 2 to 4.
Oh, come on. You can't survive on 2 to 4 hours every night.
And I'm super sick right now. But the past couple of weeks that way. But honestly, I try to get at least 6.
Okay. And what's your situation? Married, single, kiddos?
Single.
Okay, good. So no, it's your baby is the business. No kids running around keeping you up.
Exactly.
All right. And do you mind me asking, Bahar, how old you are?
I'm 33.
Last question. Take us back 13 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
That it's not a race, it's a sprint.
Wait, hold on. What does that mean?
Enjoy life as it's happening and keep working, but know that nothing is the end of the world. Nothing is the end of the day. There's always a new day, and just keep going.
Guys, there you have it. Case.one, case management system for legal firms, courts all over the place. They got over 3,000 customers, did over $17 million in terms of run rate last year, hoping to break $25 million this year as they continue to scale with our team of 300 people, all bootstrapped, which I love bootstrapped. They have a north of a 12-month payback period at this point, and they also are profitable, churning about 10% of their revenue annually, but expansion more than makes up for that whole, for north of net revenue retention, north of 100%. Bahar, thank you so much for taking us to the top.
Thank you.